All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of The Friendly Wager. This is the place where betting leads to bonding. I'm your host, Gator, joined by the one and only K.O.B, Keat on the beat, and the total package. Gentlemen, before we get going, just quick apologies on some technical difficulties from last week. We weren't able to put an episode out. We tried. Didn't work out, but it's okay. We're back this week. Going to dish out some winners and cover some previous bets from last week. KOB, how was your weekend? How did you do today, this week?
Well, yeah, it's almost better that we don't have the total package in town because we can actually get a show without any technical difficulties. But hey, he's back. We'll see how long we can make it last. Last week, my goodness, you want to talk about the public getting absolutely drilled, which is a good thing for the good guys. And NFL was very solid. We'll touch on that when we talk NFL. But my goodness, did the books hate having me on their side?
Gator, could you just appease me real quick, just to start the show? Because I just love to run my noon sesh, just real quick from Sunday. Bears and the over. Winner. Over Browns, your play, Gator, and mine as well. Winner. Patriots and Patriots team totals. Winner. Giants. Winner. Falcons. Winner. Can we pick another one? Ravens. Winner. Oh, my God, what happened? Steelers. Winner. Lost the Cardinals. Hit the Broncos. I mean, my goodness, and then Eagles on Sunday night. We lost one bet all day. You talk about a maroon job. Hey, my bookie and I aren't bonding. I guarantee that. Glad to be here with you guys. Come on.
Yeah. It was another good week. Anytime public loses, usually we're doing pretty well. On my posted plays, I went 4-2 and had an awesome NFL Sunday as well.
Did we lose the NFL bet between us all?
Yeah, I played some first half stuff, first half overs and stuff that didn't get there, but as far as like team spreads is good.
I think the posted, what did I lose? I lost the Chargers. I had Chargers plus 6.
Yeah, and I played Kansas City under 27.5, which was a terrible bet. Then it got really good there for a little bit, and then they got the first down and scored a touchdown. Field goal.
Hey, how about my hot take preseason? Justin Fields doesn't even have a job anymore. Tyson Baguette, he's the new guy. And I picked him up in all my fantasy leagues. He's my new guy.
Of course you did, yeah.
No surprise
Fields is done, man. He's out of here. I got I'm a Tyson homer now. Hop on the bandwagon. Look out for the Bears. Late postseason, Bush. Look out.
What college did you play for?
Northern Illinois. It was Division I AA. Never really heard of it.
Doesn't matter.
Got the blonde locks. He looks like a stud. And let me tell you what, look better than Fields has looked in 2 years. And they just wiped the floor with the Raiders. Someone say Hoyer starting. Yeah, maybe. I get that. But I mean, they look dominant. Deontay Foreman. So look out for those Chicago Bears. I'm going to keep riding.
Yeah, as you see the deal, he bought like 53 tickets or something like that for family and friends to be there for that game.
Take a bunch of photos. I remember I was on the leaderboard at the National Club Pro through like 3 holes. So get your camera out, Booger. Take a bunch of pictures.
All right, well, let's jump into a little bit of baseball here. Our hometown Houston Astros losing 7 games against the Texas Rangers. It's heartbreaking. Those last 2 games just couldn't get anything going. That series was a wild one where the home team lost every single game there. Package, go over the Astros there. What let us down, and why couldn't we pull this out against the Rangers?
My biggest question, I scoured social media and the internet. I just couldn't find an answer. Where's Justin Verlander in Game 7? Hamilton, their lefty that Verlander pitched against in Game 1 and 5, he was the second guy out of the pen. And when we had such a poor start, Verlander has to come in there and pitch 2 or 3 innings. Rocket did it at an older age than Verlander back in the day. So very disappointing that we kind of didn't empty the clip, as they say, and bring JV in. Maybe something was wrong, but we just didn't have the pitching staff. You can't allow 21 runs in 2 games. You got to win 1. You're not going to win too many games, allowing over 10.5 runs. So good year by the Stros, a win away from going to another World Series. I'm not disappointed in it. And I think, obviously, our pitching staff, we've got to upgrade tremendously if we want to stay super competitive and try to keep this dynasty on go.
Yeah, no, I agree. K.O.B, have anything to add to that?
Yeah, no, it's another great season by the Astros. I mean, they've had a tremendous run, and as a Houstonian, you kind of take it for granted. You look, you're like, all right, man, why didn't we make the World Series? But think about the past 7 years. It's been an unbelievable ride. Dusty Baker, newsflash, is now out. He said he's retiring.
Yep.
Where is Jim Crane in that front office going to move towards, and who's the next guy in charge? I think Dusty didn't manage that Game 7 anywhere relevant to his tenure as a MLB manager. And so, like Package said, I think Verlander need to be in there. JP France, I don't even know if we saw him all postseason, and they leave him in to give 4 runs up. I mean, it was pathetic. But hey, we got another Texas team in the World Series, so I guess worst case we can root on the Texas Rangers in the World Series.
Yeah, and I think the big thing with Dusty out is going to see what we do in free agency there with a couple big holes to fill in.
How about 2 initials? A.
J. Yeah, right.
AJ. Let's bring him back. Let's tune up the band, baby. He just took a little break out to Detroit. Can't have more than a year left on his contract. Let's go. Come on, AJ, come back home. He already lives here. We're still BFFs. Let's see you get manager of hometown Stros again. I'm in.
Yeah, no, it'll definitely be interesting to see where they go there. And I think that will be a hot topic once this season ends. I think that'll be a local hot topic that pops up for sure. All right, and then we had, to me, which was a shocking one, was the Diamondbacks upset the Phillies in my mind. I thought the Phillies coming in hot like they were going to run away with this, especially after those first 2 games. But the Diamondbacks pull back through and get the W there. K.O.B, do you have anything to add to that series? Were you as shocked as I was when the Diamondbacks pulled this out?
I'll tell you what, I was shocked, and my bookie was shocked that we played the Diamondbacks. It was so oppo. Who would play the Diamondbacks after the first 2 games? It was horrible. I mean,
you and me.
they
and Team Totes first 5 in game, 4 wagers.
It made up. It made up for the Stros not making the World Series. I will tell you that. Game 7, Diamondbacks. They looked pretty baller, and now you continue the conversation into the World Series. Can they even compete with how hot the Rangers' bats are, and their pitching looks very solid? Yeah. And I would say the answer is no, but you kind of know how gambling goes. It's going to be an interesting series. I think Rangers take it 4-2.
Are the Rangers bats stay hot? Remember, they couldn't score a run before the playoffs started. Now, how long is this heater going to sustain? That's my question. Is it going to go through the whole postseason? We'll see.
Yeah. What's your take on the Rangers Diamondback series? What do you got, Package? Who's going to win? How many games?
I'm pulling hard. One of our good pals is a Ranger homer, and he talks so much smack to us during the Stros series. I'm loading up on the D-backs, and just in spite of him, I think it's going to go 6. Honest betting man, yes. I mean, the Rangers should win, but that's why they play the game, as they say. I'm riding the D-backs.
Yeah, I think it's going to be Rangers in 6 was my gut feeling. Wouldn't shock me if it's in 5, but I would be really shocked if it got to 7. I think Rangers in 6.
The Phillies were hot too, though, before they got Arizona, before they got D-backed. Yeah. They were pretty hot too.
They're setting up to win their first World Series. I think this is the year to happen for sure, but we'll see how it goes. Let's move into a little college football Week 8 recap. Lots of big games, a few upsets there. We won't have to spend too much time. I just want to gloss over a handful of these games just to do our due diligence here. First one I want to talk about, let's go to our Texas Longhorns beat the University of Houston here in a very close game, 31-24. Houston covers the 23.5 that they were getting, and the under 60.5 was a winner. Texas benefited, in my mind, from a questionable spot on that 3rd and 1. Did he get it? Did he not? It was pretty close.
That was the worst spot I've ever seen.
No,
I was happy about it. I'm a Texas homer, but what a horrendously
bad spot. Otherwise, Houston gets that ball 1st and goal with about a minute left, and then who knows what happens there? Package. What was your takeaway of that game? Should we be worried about Texas, or is this just Texas being Texas playing down to their opponent?
Watching just about every Texas game from door to door this year, and I say this is not a popular statement. I think he's done a heck of a job with his body. He cut his hair. He's a great leader. Seems like a great human being. I'm not trying to talk trash. I just don't think Quinn Ewers guy to take us to the national championship. I like Malik Murphy. I am so excited, and I would never wish injury on anybody, but I am excited to see Malik Murphy with the reins here for what looks to be about 2 or 3 games, at least this Saturday. I think he's going to light it up like a Christmas tree in Austin, Texas. I think we found our guy. He's 6'5", 220. Let's go all the way. What do they call it? To the moon? What do these millennials say? Texas goes all the way with Malik Murphy at quarterback. Quinn Ewers lost his job.
K.O.B, go ahead and follow that one up.
I mean, it's just wild, Gator, that you get the package week 1. Quinn Ewers isn't the guy. Then Quinn Ewers beats Alabama. He goes, I'm all in on Quinn Ewers. Quinn Ewers is the answer. And then they barely beat Houston. They get the W. They barely beat Houston, and he's back off the Quinn Ewers train wagon. So I'm trying to feel his take on this because he's a big Longhorns fan. He's probably more invested than them than I am in take money from a bookie. And so
yeah,
I don't know. Does Tex, they got the W. I kind of wish it went to overtime. I want to see him get beat just so the Texas Longhorns were kind of irrelevant in the conversation of the Big 12 because it's kind of they've had these games where you just don't think they've impressed you and you don't think they should make it to the Big 12 championship. I mean, I don't think they could beat Oklahoma if they face him again, unless this Malik Murphy guy is the real deal, which we'll see this Saturday.
Yeah. Well, speaking of OU, let's jump into their game. They squeaked by UCF 29-31.
We can't beat OU. They barely beat Central Florida.
Yeah, UCF covers catching 17.5. Yeah.
Agreed.
Yeah.
If Houston and Central Florida played, it'd be a pick-em. So both of them suck.
Yeah. OU squeaks by Central Florida. They cover the 17.5, and then the 67.5 under was a winner there as well. And then I want to jump into this game here, package. I know you probably have a lot to say on this. Not shocking to anybody. The Iowa loses to Minnesota 12-10 in that controversial call, calling back that late touchdown. Minnesota covers 3.5 under 30.5, which I wish I would have saw that line. I'd have been all over that under 30.5. I just never played it, didn't see it. Give me your opinion on that. Was that a fair catch? Iowa gets screwed. What did you think?
I mean, if this is 20 years ago, it's not. There's no replay. I think it was marginal. I think it was marginal at best, would be my opinion. And look, if this is too bigger time, if this is Bama, versus Clemson back in the day, or Texas versus Oklahoma, a lot more media coverage on this. But both these teams aren't going anywhere, and they can't score any points. Nah.
Matt, what do you got, K.O.B.?
Yeah, I mean, you watch the replay. He never really puts his hand up in the air.
Yeah.
You could tell he's talking or trying to conversate with one of his teammates.
It's
so loud, but
yeah.
he's telling him, get out, get out. He's not up here waving his hand. And you don't wave your hand, catch the ball, and start sprinting down the sideline.
Yeah.
If you raise your hand, you might jump out of the way if you're about to get hit. But he was intentional on catching that football and running. And so I don't know. I think Iowa got screwed. But like package
spirit of the rule, though, you cannot wave your hand, catch the ball, and run. I don't think he was trying to call fair catch, but if you let him get away with that, that opens Pandora's box to all kinds of hand movement. You got to know better as a return specialist. You can't wave your hand.
Yeah,
I think it was a good call, but I think he was not trying to call fair catch, but a good call.
See, my biggest problem is the replay goes back to them talking about if he was out of bounds or not, and then it comes in with all of a sudden it came back in that it was a fair catch. And if you look at the sideline, like you didn't see anybody on Minnesota's sideline going crazy that it was a fair catch the whole way through. Everybody's just kind of sitting there, and all of a sudden we're trying to see if he was in bounds, and it was a fair catch. You're like, what the hell just happened here? That was my biggest problem with it. No one knew that was even going to be a possibility until it came back.
Right.
In. But neither here nor there. It's Iowa, Minnesota, like you said, package. No one was probably really caring or watching. But
Gator, you're the host, but I got to ask you, what was your biggest takeaway from college football Saturday, wagering or non-wagering?
I mean, USC, that was probably the biggest one for me. I wouldn't say shocked. I thought they were going to come out after getting the break speed off of them the week prior to come out and actually put up a fight and to let Utah come back in and beat them not only this year, but the previous year too. Utah's got their number, and it is what it is. But I was expecting a little bit more out of USC for sure. And we can jump into.
Is Caleb's draft stock going down?
No, I don't think so. I think it's not going down based off of his. I don't think his play. Just looking at everybody coming out. So, I mean, you had Drake May lost, right? Like he's the number one guy until. But if I was a GM, I wouldn't get it just based off of the idea of I want half the team. I want a little equity in the team. That's asinine to me. But he's going to be number one.
I just can't stand. I want to be his like PR guy.
Yeah.
Get off the goddamn bench when your defense is trying to hang on to the game and get your mouthpiece in your mouth. That gummit, dude. But he's back there. He's chewing on his mouthpiece. Couldn't look more disinterested. I hate that look. I like his haircut. I think he's come a long way. I like his commercials. I think he's a very marketable guy. But come on, dude. That stuff, that doesn't play out very well when you're trying to go play at the next level, and especially be a number one pick. Get up, stand up, root on your teammates. Come on, man.
It's the painting of the fingernails, last year, and just it's a little bit of the arrogance, and to think that, to me, once the report came out about asking for equity, blew my mind. Who does he think he is to be able to come in and demand that? But at the end of the day, it's NFL. It's about winning games, and the talent's there to potentially be great. So who knows?
Yep.
But that's where we're at there. A couple more games to touch on. Alabama, Tennessee. Bama comes back, covers the 8.5. Look down. They were down a lot there for a little bit. They come back out and beat Tennessee. And then, go for it.
Back to Pax's question to you. I'll butt in and answer his question that wasn't directed towards me. Alabama is now kind of a topic of conversation.
Yeah, they are. That's what I was going to go to.
Coming out 27-0 second half when they looked horrific against Tennessee. That looked like a different football team, and that looks like Nick Saban's scary football program that we're kind of all used to seeing. And so I don't know. Look out, Crimson Tide coming up. That was very impressive.
It looks to me like it's almost like they found their identity in the second half. But Milroe's not going to sit back there and pick a defense apart if those mid-range passes. But it's bombs, it's smash mouth football, and it's getting him on the edge and letting him run. So that Alabama team did look scary for the first time all year, but it's almost like Saban went, screw it. This is what we're doing. We're going to be really good at this. It's not a wide open offense, but we're going to put up some points, play good defense, and they sure as heck did that second half against the Vols.
Yeah, it looked like he dialed it back another 5 or 6 years, and went a little bit old school Saban, which is working, and I think that's what they're going to need to do. Quit trying to score 45 and just pound the ball, play great defense, and let Milroe kind of get out and run.
Play defense.
Yeah, I completely agree. Just a couple more games to touch on real quick. We don't have to go in too much depth. Florida State beats Duke 38-20. Florida State covers the 14 and the over 48.5. To me, this game is all about the Riley Leonard being injured. I think if he stays in that game, Duke walks away with the win here. I think they were in control until he gets out and goes from there. And Duke's got a big game this week coming up against Louisville. We'll touch on later. I'll be interested to see if Riley's in the game or not.
Bad beat for the Blue Devil fans.
Yeah.
Route job. I say route job, but I agree with you, Gator. They walk away with it if he stays healthy.
Yeah. That was the biggest takeaway for me there. And then finally, let's go into what most people would consider probably the biggest game of the day, big noon football game here. Ohio State beats Penn State 20-12. Ohio State covers the 4 in the under 46.5. I got a little gripe about this game, but I'm going to let K.O.B. take it from here. Talk about that game a little bit, and what was your takeaway from it?
I didn't get to watch too much of it. All I know is I logged on to the account and hammered OSU -4. I think, you look at this game and you say Penn State getting 4 to 6 points in that movement somewhere. That was just too disrespectful to Ohio State. And everyone's going to jump on that. Penn State catching 4 to 6. And so I took the sharp route, went against the public. And it wasn't really a ball game, in my opinion. I know Penn State scored at the very end of the game to make it a 6-point game, but they were never really in contention. And so Ohio State looks really, really good.
Yeah. Pat, did you have anything on that?
I wrote it. Repeat Keaton's sentiment, K.O.B.'s sentiment here. It was an easy play for Ohio State for sharp gamblers, and it was never in question. It was just easy money in our pocket. And look, two great football teams. Penn State's really good. They couldn't convert a third down. What are they, 1 for 16? But, that's a home and home thing. If they played at Penn State, might have been a different outcome. I think two evenly matched teams. But Ohio State, That was the best they've looked all year. They've been kind of laying in the weeds. So that's a big win for the Buckeyes, and look out for the showdown, obviously waiting on against Michigan to finish out the year.
Yeah, no, the worst part about that entire game was listening. It was Gus Johnson that called the game, wasn't it? With the Maserati Marvin Harrison every 2 freaking seconds. Drove me nuts. Had to pause it on the phone, just watch the scores come through.
Is he fast enough to be an elite NFL wide receiver?
I mean, he's going to be the first receiver taken. He's super athletic. As far as takeaway speed, I don't know, but I think he's going to be your classic route runner that's going to create space based off of a great route, and he's got fantastic hands. But he's going to be a top 5 pick.
He doesn't look fast to me on TV.
Yeah.
I don't know. I know everybody's just kissing his butt, and I'm sure he'll be wonderful. Optics. I'm not spending my first pick on him.
Yeah.
I want to speed. I want to burn her.
Yeah, I think the big thing with him, though, I think it was the Notre Dame game. He had a pretty bad ankle sprain there, so I don't know if he's still got a little bit of that coming through.
And that could be. It just doesn't look like.
Yeah. I don't know if he ever kind of fully recovered from that or not. But let's pivot here into some Week 9 matchups. Only got 3 games to kind of touch over here, but we're going to start with Texas versus BYU. Texas ranked number 7. Texas is laying 17.5 points. Over/unders 50.5. Package, my question for you, because you're a Malik Murphy guy, with him getting the start, what are you looking for out of him, and are you comfortable laying the 17.5 points?
Grab your old favorite blanket from when you're a kid. Get your best pillow. That's how comfortable I am. Oh my gosh. And we're going to hit the over. Texas might drop 50 by themselves. The Malik Murphy show has finally arrived. He's going to throw it deep. He's got, I think, arguably the best arm in college football. You heard me right. The best arm in college football. Sorry, Joe Milton. And he can run 6'5", 230. He's VY2, not quite as fast as Vince, but he can still move, and this dude's not scared. He'll have complete control and command of this game. He'll be the best, one of the top athletes on the field. Look out for the Horns. They make a statement this Saturday and say, hey, now, look out. We're still coming.
K.O.B.
I can't add too much to that or talk mess on that. I mean, I haven't seen too much of Malik Murphy to have an opinion on this. All I know is BYU's defense is horrible. And so I hope Texas can put up some points, because if they don't, then we'll be here next week and we have some stuff we can talk on total package.
I've got one more. Then we can go to Arch Manning. I have one more still in the pocket. That if I'm done with Malik, we can go to Arch.
I'll see Arch. Yes.
Yeah, we'll see Arch.
Arch ain't ready, man. Yeah. I'm telling you, y'all watch, but I want y'all to give me kudos next week, and y'all go, cuz, God dang, this dude is good.
He's good. Malik, he's an athlete too, right? And I don't want to see Arch this year, and I'm scared to death to see him next year when he gets the reins in the SEC. So who knows what we'll get out of that. My biggest thing is I think you're going to get a heavy dose of Texas run game here, and are they going to be able to have enough clock time to hit the over? Who knows? And the 17.5 points, a lot of points, especially if we're running the ball a lot. But it'll be interesting to see. I'd probably play the 17.5 and just hope we get a ton of points and go from there. It'd be a more fun game.
I'm hitting Texas for sure. I agree with you, though. The over is a tweener, but lay the 17.5 on the Horns.
Yeah, it'll just be a BYU can score. I don't know. And I think Texas defense is going to be a little hot after this last week too. All right, let's jump into Oregon, Utah. Number 8 Oregon comes into Utah playing the 13th ranked Utah Utes. Oregon's a 6.5 point favorite, over under 47.5. Utah's offense found some life with Bryson Barnes, and he looked better against USC, but most offenses do when playing USC. Oregon has averaged 47 points this year and have the veteran quarterback Bo Nix under center. K.O.B., my question for you, is Oregon going to outpace Utah, or can the Utes slow down the game with a good running attack and rely on their defense to get them the win? What do you got?
Utah's going to have to slow down the game, because if they thought USC could score against Utah, I think Oregon can put up numbers. And here we go, total package over here. Caleb Williams' home job, who loses outright. Bo Nix is a stud. I mean, did you see him against Colorado? The daunting Colorado Buffaloes? Holy smokes. No, but back to reality. What's this line at, Gator? Do you have
Oregon 6.5?
Okay. Very good line. I think Utah is going to be coming off the win against USC high and ready to go. But I think I like Oregon in this spot, maybe first half. That's a very good game line. I still think Oregon's better than Utah. Barnes, I just don't know if Barnes is the answer. And they came out saying he's the rising's out for sure.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
see that?
Yeah.
They're not going to bring Cam Rising back against Oregon in a
Oh,
showdown
no, I'm not
like
saying
that.
against Oregon, but towards the end of the season. I think Barnes has the job for the rest of the season. And I'm not sold on him. I watched some of that game. I'm not sold on him. USC's defense is horrible, and we all know that. So I'm curious to see how he does against Oregon's defense.
Yeah. What do you got, Package?
I mean, I think Oregon clear cut is the play on paper for the public. I think a lot of people are going to be on Oregon. Bucky Irving, probably the most sensational running back in the country. So that would make me want to play Utah. I think some weird things happen when you get up in those mountains just outside Salt Lake City. And Utah's a grindy team, but it's going to have to be, if it goes over 65, then Oregon's going to cover. Have to keep this at a total of around, I think, 45 points for Utah to cover.
Yeah, and that's why I think that over-under line's so good at 47.5. It's right in that realm to where Utah's got to stick around that number if they're going to have a chance to win, because they're not going to keep up scoring-wise.
Is Oregon's defense that good, though?
I mean, they can be. I mean, they can be, but it'll be, like I said, it'll be interesting to see how this game goes. This is the one I'm most interested in for sure, because there's a lot riding on this game as well too. You lose this, your season's done.
Yeah.
As far as
You're
college
done.
football playoffs go, you're done, and we'll see how it goes from there. But I'm probably staying away.
Go Bo Nix.
Yeah. I'm gonna stay away
Yay.
from this game
Go
until right before
Bo.
kickoff and see what
Go
happens.
Go Bo. You got one fan, Bo. He's sitting right in the screen.
Hey, Bo, remember me, Bo. Hey, Bo, I love you.
That's funny. All right, we'll just touch one more game here. You got the 20th ranked Duke Blue Devils taking on the 18th ranked Louisville here. Louisville's a 4-point favorite, over under 46. With package with Riley Leonard being day-to-day and questionable to play, are you staying away from this game, or are you loading up on one of these teams one way or the other?
Well, look where the public's at. We're going to go Oppo as we do. We're going to be sharp. But God dog it, Louisville might be for real.
Mhm.
They might be for real. And if Riley Leonard plays, what's his health like? Too many unanswered questions here on Wednesday night. But we'll have action on this game one way or another. Ain't no doubt come Saturday.
What do you got, K.O.B.?
Yeah, I always thought since week one, Duke's defense looked very good. They were running everywhere. You saw about 5 guys trying to make one tackle, and that's the defense I like to see. And then you see Louisville play a good defense a couple weeks ago against Notre Dame, and they kind of picked them apart. And so I thought this was going to be a great matchup for Louisville. And if Riley Leonard's out, how do you not play Louisville? I don't know, but we will find out come Saturday. I'm leaning Louisville right now.
Jeff Brown.
Yeah.
Real deal.
I think this game's going to come down to a couple things here, and I think the big one's going to be Louisville's offense. They have a very good run offense, and then I think this can be a big defensive game too, where the under could be a really good play at 46. I think it could take that way, lean that way for sure going into it. But I wanted to check here a score real quick for you because it popped up on my screen. I couldn't believe what I just saw. Want to make sure it was there. It was our local.
The Rockets got clipped by 30.
Yeah, no, this was our. It is true. I'm looking at it here. Are the 0-7 Sam Houston Bearcats are currently up 24-13 against the UTEP Miners.
Dude,
Wednesday night football in Huntsville, Texas.
I missed Tip.
always
I've been
play
playing Sam
Sam
every week.
My gosh. And now they're winning a football game. The 0-7 Sam Houston Bearcats are winning a football and the over.
Their team coach first half was
And
6.5.
the over's already, yep.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah,
No,
it's all the one game we didn't play, and it's right up the road from me right now. I can't believe I'm out there, to see this legendary Wednesday night football game.
You're not a true fan.
Hey, real quick before we move on,
Yeah.
is it weird if you're like, hey, if I were a senior in high school and Sam Houston signs here, I'm like, hey, mom and dad, this is going to be great. Y'all come watch me play on Saturday, college football Saturday. Yeah. I don't think they played on a Saturday. Maybe once. They play on Wednesday every goddamn week. They got weekends off. It's the craziest thing I've ever seen.
Back-to-back Wednesday night games. Yep.
Those players love to have the weekends off, though. No doubt about it.
I wouldn't be complaining if I were there.
Yeah, that's funny. No, it'll be good. All right. Well, I mean, I think the only thing for Sam Houston, if you're on their golf team, they got a good little golf squad. But other than that, I don't know if you're.
They weren't as good as the Lumberjacks back in the late '90s. I can tell you that.
All right, let's move into a little NFL Week 7 here. Instead of going over a couple of games, I want to throw a little wrench in the system here with a little betting recap. And I got some betting nuggets for y'all here today that we can kind of talk on. First is favorites were 5-7 against the spread, and the overs were also 5-7, which spells a bad week for the public betting here. You had 8 times that the public was a heavy favorite with over 70+% of the tickets. So there's 8 different games that had 70+% of the tickets on teams that all lost. You had 84% on the Bills, 79% on the 49ers, 78% on the Raiders, 77% on the Bucks, 74 on the Browns, 74 on the Lions, 73 on the Packers, 73 on the Rams. All losers coming in. K.O.B., out of those 8 games, how many of those did you play, and how many of those games were you on the good side of?
Gator, I was 7-0 on all those going into Monday night, and I got a little phone call from little birdie that said, let's play the 49ers -7. And so I hopped on the train. It wasn't even a close one. I stopped watching at halftime. So I go 7-1 according to those stats, those statistics. So it was a solid week on those 8 favorite public teams for K.O.B.
Pat?
Brock Purdy was concussed.
He was. He did.
Okay, he came out today. Yeah. That's what all happened like that. Okay, he had a concussion.
He did.
Right?
He did.
He had a concussion and shot 80. Keith, god dang, tell everybody to shut up. I was concussed.
I didn't say he told me that. I just said someone called me.
Yeah,
a load of crap. It was a bad finish to a all-time weekend for me. But yes, I was on the right side of every one of those games. They call this Black Sunday for some of our buddies at the public. It's Black Sunday, but nowadays we got off of that train a few years ago. Woo! That means it's big time Sunday for the Sharks, and it sure as hell. Come on, baby. Woo!
Yeah, no, I was on the opposite end of most of these plays too. The Niners did get me. I didn't play that game at all, but I did play Niners over Team Totes first quarter. And that fumble down in the red zone.
That ruined it all.
They were about to. That was an easy play until they fumbled.
It ruined it there, and then the missed field goal as well for first half Totes. It was just a bad little run there for us. Some other stats that came out when looking at this that was fascinating: the Lions versus the Ravens game, and then the Bills Patriots game were the 2 most bet games in terms of total betting tickets.
That's pretty surprising in my opinion. I thought the Dolphins Eagles would be up there.
Yeah. Nope. Those were the 2 most bet games in terms of total tickets sold there. The Lions at +3 and the Bills at -7.5 were the 2 most bet teams as far as ATS goes. Despite being the road dogs, the Lions carried a 90% of the money line bets and 74% of the handle. Bills had 80% of the total tickets against the spread. 82% of the handle. They also had 81% of the handle on the money line as well. So just the overall amount of money bet on those 2 teams were astronomical in sense of just the total amount of money dollars that the house came in and just took from everybody, which to me was just fascinating to see. And if you look at those lines, the big thing there was they didn't really move much. That much money
Vegas
on the Bills,
liked the side they had.
That much money on the Bills, and the line just stuck at 7.5 all the way to kick was just that was your sign to load up on the Patriots. It was just wild.
For anybody gambling that is listening to this, if you see a scenario like that, and I'm not saying it's 100%, but if the public's loaded 80-90% on a team, it doesn't move, you bet the other way. Inconsequential to who's playing. Just get Vegas. They're trying for a reason. We were sharp enough to hit both of those, and they were both easy winners. I mean, no sweaters.
Yeah, and it's one of those ones we always joke around about, right? If this was 10 years ago when we first started, when I first started betting a lot, and then I saw the Lions at +3, I would have been hammering that all day, every day.
And how could you play the Patriots?
That too.
How can you? That was my fingers started shaking when I was hitting submit on the Patriots game. I got it. Hey, got her done. But I mean, how can you play the New England Patriots in that spot?
I want to know how many people lost parlay money lines because they had the Buffalo Bills minus 300 in a parlay like that.
Yeah.
for New England to cover, not only to cover but to win outright was incredible.
Yeah. No, there was one of the big bets. There's a whole list of things when I was reading up for today. It was like there was a couple of bets, and some of the biggest losers were money line Bills plays at like minus 330 for a couple 100,000. That were just losers right away. It was wild to see. But just to elaborate on everything, we're dogging the public here, but there was a highlight for the public, and that was on the Philly game. 70% of the tickets were on Philly at minus 3, which covered easily in that game there. So they did get a little win in there.
Drunk.
Yeah,
I was intoxicated. I didn't look into that game and just got fat thumbed and played Philly everywhere. Thank goodness.
Yeah. So that's a little bit of how Week 7 betting in the NFL came out there, and hopefully everybody was on the good end there. But before we go into some games for Week 8, let's jump into our power rankings with all the shakeup that we had this week with the Niners losing, Dolphins losing, Lions losing. I think this top 5 here power rankings for everybody might have changed quite a bit. So before we jump into this, K.O.B, do you want to go first or worst? What do you want to do? Stop at 1 or start at 5?
Let's start at 5 this week.
Start at 5?
Yeah.
All right. I like it. We're going to do a shakeup here. All right, Package, I'm going to let you lead us off here. Who is your number 5 team here?
The Chicago Bears. I joke.
They're number 1.
Shocking enough. Off of a bye, I think they've got it together. This is not from anything that happened this weekend, but my number 5 team is going to be the Cincinnati Bengals.
Wow.
Coming in at number 5. Number 4, I got the Eagles up a spot after a really good win at home against the Dolphins. The Dolphins just have to have home field, and they're still in position to possibly do that. You go to Miami, it's a different thing, but they can't go into cold weather and beat anybody. But I've got Philly at number 4 for right now. I've got, San Francisco, I'll put it 2. I'm still going to pencil in the Lions at 3. So I'm going to go Lions even after they got route job. Not a believer in Baltimore. Overreaction. I'm going to put the Lions at 8. Not doing it. Lions 3, Niners 2, and Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs. Defending champs. They've taken over the top spot for me.
K.O.B, before you go, do you even have Cincinnati in your top 10 if you were to power rank this out?
Cincinnati's probably.
It's a hot take.
I have the Texans above the Cincinnati Bengals.
So on a neutral field, you're telling me if Cincy and Houston play this week, Houston will be favored?
Favored or not, they're going to win. So it depends. Do you want to be Vegas? Probably not. They'll probably be the underdog. But do you want them to have all the bets? Then, yeah, they might be favored. Yeah.
Joe Burrow's healthy. Look out for Cincy coming off this bye. They're about to go on a streak.
I'm gonna go next, K.O.B, and I'll let you close it out here. I'm gonna start with my number 5 team, my Miami Dolphins. They were my 3rd ranked team last week. I dropped them down a couple spots after losing to Philly. They're my number 5 team. My number 4 team, I would have probably had last week if we were to go all the way out. They would have been number 7 or 8. But Baltimore Ravens have looked better and better week in and week out. Lamar Jackson's he's slinging it. He's doing well. I think Baltimore is a very good team. Are they going to win the Super Bowl? Probably not. But for what they have done so far, they're my number 4 team. Number 3, I got the Philadelphia Eagles. I mean, look, we saw what they were able to do. Their defense showed up, kept the high-scoring offense of Miami in check, able to move the ball. If it's 3rd and 3, just watch out. They do 2 quarterback sneaks. That's good for 4 or 5 yards every time. So Philly is my number 3 team. Number 2, this is the last week. I'm going to keep them there. If they let me down again, they might slide down to the bottom of this top 5 or out of it completely. San Francisco
Cowboys?
San Francisco 49ers. I just think they're just too good. And I don't know. Are we seeing the decline of Brock Purdy? I don't know. I think the end of that game, the 2 interceptions, I think he did have a concussion. As we've seen today come out, I think that could have been some of the issues of the 2 interceptions, but we'll see how they go. I just think there's too much talent on that roster, and we can see what they can do when everybody's on the field. They're a Super Bowl contender for sure, so I'm going to keep them at number 2. And then my number 1 ranked team, as much as I am not a Kansas City Chief fan, especially with Taylor Swift in their arsenal now, but the Kansas City Chiefs are the number 1 ranked team in my power rankings on the NFL. Every week they're looking more and more like the Kansas City Chiefs we're used to seeing, and I just think they're the number one team as of right now. K.O.B., you want to take
I
it?
like it. Yeah. I'm number 5. We're going straight to Miami. Miami Dolphins still stay in the top 5 after last week. I'm not quite sure how, but I think they earn the respect. They do. Their offense is powerhouse. They got held in check, like you said, Gator. But they still got to be number 5 as of after week 7. Number 4, Baltimore Ravens. They were very impressive. Their defense is solid. I think they're the only team left in the NFL that's held their opponents under 100 points all season. They've allowed 97 points. So their defense are contenders, not pretenders, as Total Package would say. And so Baltimore Ravens, look out. Number 4, big fan of Lamar Jackson. Number 3, you got to put the 49ers in the top 5 somewhere. And that's where the 49ers go for myself. They're number 3. I bet them to miss playoffs preseason. I bet them under 11.5 wins preseason. I didn't think they were going to be as good as they are. And I think we're starting to see that squad that I thought we would see week 1. Brock Purdy, you say concussed or not, I just don't think he's the dude with a game-winning drive on the line. He just can't do it. Number 2, Philadelphia Eagles, solid team. They're going to be up there. Jalen Hurts, offense powerhouse. Believe in Jalen and that offense. And then number 1, of course, Kansas City, Arrowhead, baby, Pat Mahomes.
After week 1, a quick stat here because I just looked this up because I know K.O.B. is just a huge a homer, just job. Miami, oh my gosh! But let me tell you what, at home, Miami scores 70, 31, 42. After week 1 on the road, they score 24, 20, and 17. I mean, it's a marked difference here when they travel outside of sunny Miami. So they just better hope that they can somehow win enough games to get a home field. I don't think they can go on the road in the playoffs in cold conditions and win and beat anybody. Sorry.
Yeah,
I love two. Two is great.
Yeah,
they're fun.
I think you're starting to see teams figure out the offense a little bit more, but they are quick, they are fast. We'll see what happens. Their defense is a liability. They got to get off the field, and they just can't. But we'll see how it goes. I think that's a good top 5 though. Package usually is a little out there for me, but hey, who would have been shocked by that? I mean, it is what it is. Who was your number 1? I can't remember anymore. I was so
Kansas City.
Okay, all right. So at least you had something in there
relevant.
You can hang her hat on. Yeah.
Natty. Hashtag Natty. Hashtag Joe Burrow. Hashtag let's get it on.
Out.
Hashtag heat check.
That's
coming.
the thing. I'm not out on you thinking the Bengals are going to make a charge, but they haven't done anything yet, so you can't really. It's kind of irrelevant to put them at 5 now. Like, wait till next week or the week after.
I want to get ahead of the curve here and be like, oh my gosh, this dude picked him last week. Oh my gosh, he's got dang Nostradamus when it comes to the NFL. Yeah. Oh my God.
Yeah, the only guy in the world that has a 3-loss team in their top 5 here.
Right.
Yeah.
To each their own.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Well, let's jump into week 8 games here and some betting trends that we're seeing, and we're going to kick it off for Thursday night football. Got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers facing off against the Buffalo Bills. This line has kind of been all over the place. It was at 8.5. I'm looking at it now. It looks like some books it's jumped up to 9 and even 9.5. You can catch it at. Over-unders at 43.5. Package, where are you leaning on this game? What are your takeaways here? And what's your favorite play?
The Bills are a seesaw. They're a seesaw football team. I think they bounce back and have one of their dominant performances this week. I think it's a complete route job. I'm riding the Bills pending where the public money's at. But I like the Bills personally to absolutely just give Baker a country ass whipping.
Yeah, K.O.B.
Yeah, I mean, what's the first half line? Maybe -6, 4, 5.5.
Yeah.
It's hard not to take the Buffalo Bills. I think Package had a great analogy there. He pulled out of his ass a seesaw. That was pretty clever there. And yes, I think it's Bills' time this week. I'm not a fan of Baker. I've said that previously. And I don't think he's that great of a quarterback. I mean, he could get them about 6-7 wins maybe this season. I like both defenses, so the under looks pretty good to me. Might teeter with the under. depends where that line finishes at come Thursday.
Yeah, no, for sure. That first half line too, K.O.B's 5.5. So you were right on it, for sure. For me, this game, uh, Thursday night, and it being 8.5, 9 points, my gut would tell me to go lean towards the Bucks, but I am not comfortable uh, playing the Bucks right now. I just they're unpredictable. You don't know what Baker you're going to get. Are you getting the Baker from the first 3 weeks? Or are we getting Cleveland Baker that's going all over the place? That's my biggest worry when it comes into this game. What do you got, packages?
No, just Atlanta moved the ball up and down the field. They couldn't score a point inside the 10. Desmond Ritter, hang on to the goddamn ball when you're running into the end zone. Put a little effort in, stretch it out. But without Bijan, I thought Atlanta looked good, and I think their offense is one of the top 5 worst in the NFL. So I think Buffalo, if Josh Allen doesn't turn the ball over, I think they light it up. And it's going to be one of those, once again, Seesaw, Jekyll, and Hyde deals where we go, well, here's one of the top teams in the AFC. Here they are.
Yeah.
Not the ones that got beat by the Patriots. Here they are.
Yeah, no, I agree. And I think that's where I was kind of, you see the big money, the total there at 9 points, and you just like, this Thursday night's got to be a Tampa play. But you start diving into it, like you said, Atlanta moved the ball up and down the field. They were averaging 9.7 yards a play in the air. And from week 5 on, Tampa's had the worst secondary in the NFL as far as giving up yardage.
The public wins a little more on Thursday than they do on Sunday and Monday.
Yeah, Thursday night's just always those wild card games. You just don't know. It can go so many different ways. In the later on in the year, the home team gets better and better as far as odds go. Looking at it here, the under-over, I'm not a big fan of. I think it's a great line. I'd stay away from it. But if I had to pick a play, I like the Bills' first quarter over 6.5 or the 13.5 first half total points. I think those are two.
K.O.B. Gator's turned it into kind of aficionado here. Quarter bets, prop bets, half bets.
He's understanding.
I love it. And he's been very successful.
Yeah.
So listen up. Gator throws a little first quarter bet in there. Hit it.
Yeah, keep that out. And then if we can't remember, Package, you're better at some of the guys' names. What's their third receiver on the Bills that they have it?
Oh, my gosh. On the tip of my tongue. Gabe Davis.
No. It's the third one. Gabe Davis. It's like Shakir. What's his name? I can't think of it. But anyways.
Khalil Shakir.
Yeah, there you go, K.O.B.
Yeah.
Had a bub. I should have called on
you.
Hey,
he's on all 7 of my fantasy teams.
Yeah.
Good pull.
With Dalton Knox out, he's had a little wrist surgery here. I think anytime touchdown I looked at earlier for him was plus 700.
Oh,
that would be something to play. Third quarterback, bad secondary. Just throwing that out there.
Ooh.
Might be a good action for you there. All right, let's
pump fake to step on. Level.
Yeah.
Go to Shakir.
There we go. Let's move into hometown here. Little Houston Texans taking on the Carolina Panthers. Texans are a 3-point favorite over under 43.5. K.O.B., I know this is going to be a tough game for you, being a big Bryce Young guy. What's your take in this game?
I'm riding Houston Texans all day long. I think coming off a bye is one of the best things that could happen for them. Not that they have to study much film on Bryce Young because he absolutely sucks this year, and the Carolina Panthers are not impressive. I'd be very shocked if the Panthers come out and look decent against the Texans. I think it might be a low-scoring game. The Texas defense has looked solid, but C.J. Stroud's stepping in his stride. And I like the Houston Texans only giving a field goal. I'm going to buy the hook down, be sharp, and I'm going to get it 2.5.
Stepping into his stride. I love it. And let's not let this go unnoticed. The Texans get their true, unquestioned number 1 wide receiver back in old Tank Dell. So you get Tank back in the mix. This is Texans all day long. I don't care where the public money's at. I'm riding the hometown Texans, as I always do. But this is going to be a W. Hey, C.J. Stroud makes everybody notice. He should have been the number 1 pick in this draft. Glad he wasn't.
Yeah, I think my biggest worry on this game is it's one of those ones that you kind of look at being a low total there at 3. It's a letdown type game to where Carolina most likely is going to get a win at some point. Is this the week that they're going to get it? I know they're riddled with injuries, but that would be my biggest worry. Also, if you
I don't think Bryce Young can win an NFL game, Gator.
Yeah,
I really don't. I don't think he can play 4 quarters.
I don't think so
unless
either.
There's pick sixes involved. Now, if goofy things happen, which it might, That's the only way that Carolina can win against anybody.
Yeah,
I
agree. Carolina's not a good football team. He hasn't shown any relevance here of being a competent quarterback for them right now. But again, it goes back to being a Jets and Texans fan. You're just get comfortable with getting let down, and this just spells a upset week for the Texans. They do it every year. This just seems like one of those games. And quite frankly, if you look at the stats on the Texans, they've been out gaining yardage quite a bit this year. So that 3-3, win total they have now, it's good, but it could have easily went the other way just based off of offense production. But I'll probably lean in Texans here. I have every week. I know Jason's going to send out a text here Sunday morning that says Texans and over guaranteed. That comes every Sunday.
And team totes.
So just be ready for that.
And team
totes.
totes.
And first quarter and second quarter. And hey, live bet third quarter. Texans.
Yeah. Yeah, just be ready for it. You know that one's coming in there for sure.
It's coming.
Yeah. All right. Just kind of scrolling through here, a couple other games that I think could be really good. You have the Rams taking on the Cowboys. Cowboys are 6.5-point favorites. Let me see what the total is here. Over under 45 package. You leaning one way or the other here, or are you just loading up on the Dallas Cowboys?
I hate the Cowboys. I'm almost turning into just a Cowboy hater with a lot of other people here in Houston. I've lost so much money on them, and then I go oppo of them because I don't think they're any good, and they cover against the Chargers. I don't know what to think about Dallas. Stafford's not done. I think the Rams are a little bit better than their record shows. I think it's going to be a close game. I'm probably taking the dog, and I'm probably going to play the Rams in the over. I think the Dallas Cowboys are fraudulent.
Yeah, K.O.B.
I think it's a good line. I've thought since week one that Dallas Cowboys were the real deal this season. I wouldn't be surprised if they blow the Rams out, but it's probably more of a stay away game for me. I'm not sold on the Dallas Cowboys. I'll say it right now, but I wouldn't be shocked. Okay. I wouldn't be shocked if they blow them out. Dallas Cowboys.
You going to give me 20? I'll take the Rams in 20.
Rams and
plus 20.
20.
If they're going to blow them out, I'll take the Rams plus 20 for a friendly wager.
Well, you got to give me odds.
We're betting leads to
it's
bonding.
Alternate line. So plus 500, I'm in.
All right, we'll talk about that.
Yeah,
I think Rams might win.
What do you think?
The Cowboys game, I hate betting Cowboys games mainly because they're going to get a huge public wave on them every week. So when you look into the numbers, it's tough to see. If I had to pick now, being it's under a touchdown, I'd probably lean Cowboys way. If it gets to 7 in the hook, I'd flip really fast to the Rams. So this might be one of those teaser games. If whichever side you like it, tease the Rams up or tease the Cowboys down, throw them a little parlay. A little 3-team teaser and see what you can get. But that'd be the only way I think I'd play this game anytime soon moving forward. Let's go a couple more here, just kind of looking at them. This was a line, I think, they played not too long ago, Thursday night. Chiefs taking on the Broncos again. Chiefs are only a 7.5-point favorite here going to Denver. What do you think on this game, K.O.B.?
Dude.
Over-under's 46.
I don't know what else I can say. Russell Wilson has lost me so much money in the past 2 years. And it's just mind-boggling.
Yeah.
You have a dude doing jumping jacks in the jet going to the game, acting like a team leader. Then Sean Payton comes over. And this is when I was like, okay, Sean Payton will finally get him to understand that they're trying to win football games and not self-market himself, which he doesn't need to do. I still don't think Russell Wilson's worth a shit. I don't think anybody does. And I think the Chiefs are really good. But I know if I play the Chiefs, Russell Wilson's going to go down and game-winning drive, and they're gonna beat the Chiefs outright. And so I don't know. I'm mixed emotions on Denver or game-winning drive to cover. Let me rephrase.
Oh, it's an by the way game. It's a classic. Grandma's back door opens up. They're down 13. Russell's got the ball with 2 minutes to go. And the Chiefs are done. They're going to win. And I'm telling you, we're betting Russell for a little, by the way, give Grandma a kiss on the cheek. I love the Broncos.
It needs to be more than 7. I will say that.
The 7 on the hooks is a good number because just looking at the numbers here for bets placed, It's pretty interesting. Denver only has 35% of the total bet tickets here. They have 64% of the money right now. So someone's coming in with some large wagers on Denver.
Sharp money.
Yeah.
Well, we'll
And-
push that money percentage up to about 70% once we place our large wagers.
We just have to catch it before they slide that back down below 7. But if that line stays there, then you kind of like your Kansas City action. But we'll see where it goes.
Yeah.
But that's definitely a line to look at, and that's why I wanted to bring it up. Seeing that much money placed on them as well. Another one that's got a lot of action on as far as total money, but not that many bets, are the Vikings versus the Packers.
Dude,
Vikings
I'm
are-
glad you brought this up, Gator. You're a
Yeah.
wonderful host, because what kind of line is this? I mean,
It's a
what
pick 'em.
kind of
It's
line is this?
-1.
I know.
Yeah.
Why? Jordan Love and
Yeah.
the Green Bay Packers are awful. Why is it only
Exactly.
1? After
All right,
Kirk
now you want to
Cousins
be
this play?
scared? You ready to be scared?
Packers is the
You
play.
gotta
It
play
is
the
the play.
Packers. You have to.
You have to. It's 39%. 39% of the bets on 64% of the money on. 39% of the bets on 86% of the money are on the Packers.
Wow.
It's crazy, and that's why I wanted to bring that one up, because you would think after
The Vikings
the
display.
Vikings game just won on Monday, the big win against San Francisco coming in, and here we go going to Green Bay, who hasn't looked good since week 1 in my mind. It's just crazy to think about, and the fact that that's a pick 'em is wild to me.
New England will look terrible too until Sunday. So this is a clear-cut Packers play, win or lose. But I'm telling you, you're on the super sharp side with Jordan Love, who's been awful.
Yeah.
Look out for the Packers in Lambeau. They're going to beat Minnesota outright. Of course, it's a pick 'em. But you got to get on the Packers side.
Yeah, I agree, and I think this game too. Even if you're not comfortable betting this game as far as the line or
you just
over
gotta
under
do
goes,
it. You just got to do it.
you have to do it, especially at a pick 'em. Like, let's go do it and load up on the Packers. But I will play, if we're doing any props. I haven't even looked at the totals, but whatever the receivers are for Green Bay, load up on the over total, whatever that is. I think it's going to be. I think it's going to be one of those games where they're just slinging it back and forth across the field, and who knows.
Would y'all take Jordan Love or Bryce Young if y'all were the GM and those are your only two options?
Neither.
I'd probably go. I would go Jordan Love purely on hopefully some of A-Rod's rubbed off on him. That's the only reason why. Hope he learned something from him. But
probably the two biggest young QB disappointments in the league, I would think. I'm not taking over hosting duties, Gator, but I just want to call this out that obviously the flex schedule started earlier this year because we finally have the premier team in the NFL playing on Sunday Night Football, which I know we're all stoked about.
Oh, yeah. We were getting ready to go there, but let's hit it. We got the Bears taking on the Chargers. The Chargers are, you can catch them right now, 8.5-point favorites, sometimes 9, depending on where you get them at. Take it away, package. Where are you at here?
What
Chargers,
do you mean,
Bears.
where are you at? Is that even a question? We don't even have to talk about this game.
K.O.B., would you like to go ahead and answer where you're at? Because we all know I'm on the Tyson bandwagon. He's going nuts. And finally, he'll get an appropriate stage to perform Sunday Night Football.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not against you on that. I think that's a fair wager. You can say he played against Brian Hoyer and the Raiders, but it doesn't matter. He still put up 30 points, right? And so, am I against him? No, because he scored and he can move the football. Is the Raiders defense that scary? No, but I don't think the Chargers defense is that scary either. And so I think he's going to put up some points. Hopefully 8.5 is enough points to cover. Because Justin Herbert and the Chargers do scare me. They just do.
Yeah.
And
they haven't beat anybody. They can't beat anybody by 8.5 points.
It's the team. It's the roster. The roster scares me. I know they haven't beat much.
They have the ability to do well.
Yeah. The potential is a lot higher, obviously, for the Chargers than the Bears.
Yeah.
I joke about this, and I will probably play the Bears because I am a homer. But if we're being very serious, that's too many points. If we're being sharp, I think the Chargers are probably, after the Bears looked so good last week, the Chargers might throttle.
Yeah, and it's one of those ones. The line opened up at 5.5 and quickly rose to the 8.5 very fast. And it's pretty much a 50-50 game here. 50% bet tickets back and forth, and 54% of the money on the Chargers. So you can definitely see Vegas wanted to get some more action on the Bears, and they got it.
on the Bears.
So this is a classic stay away game unless you're like packaged that if there's 14 games being played, we got 14 wagers going minimum.
You bet.
So
First
that'd be the
half
only way
and
I
game.
play this
Yeah.
game. Yeah, this will be one I definitely stay away from. Just keeping away from it there, and unless something crazy happens before kick. Other than that, y'all have any other games you want to touch on or go over?
Yeah, I want to ask the host what he thinks about the Jets playing the Giants.
Oh, I mean, if we're going to dive into that, I don't think it's really a question here. You know, the Jets, I believe, are going to be favorites here. You know, 3-point favorites, over under 36.5, which is a fantastic underplay. Just go ahead and take it now. This could be a 12-7 type game. But I think, you know, this is an away game.
Even with no headband Zach?
Yeah.
With headband Zach, I agree. But with no headband Zach, you still like
Yeah, I
is
think
Tyrod
that's going to
Taylor
be
starting again.
How do you not after last week?
That's what I'm saying. That's a little scary in my opinion.
Yeah,
he looked better than Danny
for
Dimes.
sure.
Yeah, but at the same time, you know, Tyrod is what he is, and he's going to go up against the vaunted Jets defense. You know, so I think this is a setting up for a very classic low-scoring game. A lot of Breece Hall, Dalvin Cook. I think that's all you're going to see. Short passes, quick passes, just eat the clock up and let the defense kind of take over and see if they can shut them out like Dallas did in Week 1. You know, I think that's what
I don't think they can score.
Yeah, I don't.
Commanders
either.
are horrible.
Yeah.
I don't know if they can score on the Jets.
They barely scored on
without
the
a turnover.
Yeah, I don't
agree.
Yeah, I don't think so either. I think this is a good week for the Jets coming off a bye, pick up a win, go 4-3, and then you get a lot of people talking if we can get 4.
Hey, Raj, get that medical treatment. Hey, Super Bowl still in sights.
Yeah, I don't know about that far, but hey, we still got a chance. We're not out of it yet, but that's where I'm at there. What do you got, K.O.B.? Think anything there?
Yeah, no, I agree. I was just seeing where your brain was at in that game.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's for I will definitely be all over the Jets. You know, it lined open at 1.5 too. So being at 3, I'll probably catch it now and hope it goes a 2 and a hook, but I won't play it at 3.5. But 3, I love it for sure. Moving in.
Well, I think we hit on so many games, but I will say this: the last time we all got on a big heat check, the next week was a little rough.
It was.
We're not happen this go around. We're gonna be very structured with our action. Well, kind of, but our big action's gonna be very structured, and we're gonna get on the right side of Vegas again and get on the Vegas side this weekend and hope to win another handful of units. And let's load the wagon. Let's load up the wagon here.
Yeah, and
get on a heater.
Yeah, and before we jump into the buy or sell, you know, we talk about it every week, but just keep a lookout on Instagram and X. We post everything for free for everybody to check and see where we're at. Those plays that we post are some of our favorite pet plays that we have and that we are betting every single one of those. So keep an eye out. If package wakes up early enough, you know, we'll get those out as early as we can. Or sometimes K.O.B., you know, sleeps in. But we get them out as quick as we can, and we post them there for everybody to see. So just keep an eye out on that. All right, let's jump into the buy or sell before we close this show out. Package, you want to start us off? Are you buying or selling?
I'm buying. I touched on this earlier in the show. I hate to repeat myself, but I'm buying all in on Malik Murphy.
I knew it was coming. Yeah.
Hook 'em horns. Natty coming up. First natty since 05. Book it. BY2 gets national championship. Number 2 for Texas here in the last 20 years.
K.O.B., you want to go? Or do you want me to take it?
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead, Gator.
All right. I'm gonna sell this week, and being that we're a gambling show, I had to make touch of this here, and I'm selling the Atlanta Falcons in the NFL for allowing this Bijan Robinson migraine story to fly under the radar. A ton of fantasy teams, and let's just talk about prop bets. You know, Bijan over was going to be over receiving, especially in that game, was going to be a huge play to be bet on. And if betting's getting as public as it is, and NFL is going all in on this gambling deal, ESPN's getting on it. There's eventually going to be kiosks in NFL stadiums where you can place your bets. You have to let people know that there's a possibility he doesn't play.
Did they void the wagers?
No, not from what I've seen.
No, he played snaps.
He played a couple snaps. Yeah, he played a couple snaps.
Yeah.
So you're sitting there and you're like, you can't help but think, just from a conspiracy theorist there, did anybody know, oh man, we got 70% of these tickets on the over, don't say anything, let it go through? Not saying that happened or not, but from the NFL, you got to protect yourself in that possibility of anybody ever thinking that to take that out. So that is my huge,
He
huge
wasn't even
sell.
questionable.
I did nothing. There was nothing on it.
Nothing.
And it just, that is so suspicious on my end from a gambling standpoint, that you have to tell people what's going on. Otherwise, this can get out of hand, and who knows what's going to happen. It's just going to have people question the NFL and the product that they put on the field. You already see the deals with scripts and the refs calling the things and doing things, right? So that's my sell for this week. It just,
good take. That's a hot take.
Solid.
you got to tell us what's going on. That's all we can say. K.O.B., take it away.
I'm buying. I am buying this week. I don't think there is a question on, really, maybe there's a little bit of a question on who wins the AFC North. But after last week, I am sold on the Baltimore Ravens and their team. I think they win that division easily. You just look at that game against the Lions. Even Package, when I told him, hey, we're gonna play the Ravens, he's like, dude, really? Like, against the Lions catching 3? I was like, just do it. Like, just press the submit button, just like a ton of other plays. But if you look at this, the box score or the team stats on just that game, they score 38 points. No defense, no special teams touchdowns, all offensive. They only had 1 turnover. They only had 55 plays compared to Lions 70-something, and they score 38 points. 38. Their offense is on go, and their defense looked very solid. They only 1 interception, but they held them. Lions only had 18 first downs. And so I'm sold on the Baltimore Ravens. Look out. Their schedule isn't that challenging for the next couple weeks. But then they play, the Bengals, Dolphins, 49ers.
Cincinnati's in their division, right?
I do. Correct.
Okay.
Yes,
Just want to double check, because I didn't want you to think.
I said the Bengals.
Maybe Cincy's in the AFC West. Because obviously, of course, they're not going to win the division because the Bengals are. So I just was curious, make sure you had all of your information.
They're going to win the AFC
correct.
North.
Yeah. Well, I'll just throw something in there. Then I like the Baltimore buy. I think they're doing very well. I think Lamar's shown that he can definitely be more of a pocket passer, but he still has that ability to run and get out of the pocket when he needs to. But don't forget about my call on this one, which was the Cleveland Browns and P.J. Walker coming, because Deshaun can't get on the field, which is probably better for them anyways. And Myles Garrett is an absolute beast, and between him and TJ, they're running away with Defensive Player of the Year. So
arguably the best division in football.
Yeah,
and you got Pickett to Pickens as well. So
yeah.
No, I'm out on Pickens. My goodness.
Good.
Dude.
About time.
He had 100. He had 100. He had over $1 again last week.
I know.
Back-to-back
but
weeks.
He needs to throw touchdowns to him. That's it.
All right, package. Here we go. I'm going to throw another wrench in the system for you, package. You got Kenny Pickett, Jordan Love, Justin Fields, Bryce Young. Who you taking?
Can we add Tyson Baggett to that list?
No.
Kenny Pickett.
Okay.
Hands down. Look, we've all figured it out. Justin Fields, you have to be able to be a pocket passer in the NFL. We touched on Lamar Jackson. He's never been. He had one good Sunday. Yeah. I'm not selling on him, or I'm not buying yet like y'all are. He looked unbelievable on Sunday against a good Lions defense. If that was his stock or close to his stock, oh my goodness gracious, look out for the rest. You have to be able to sit in the pocket and throw the football. There's not been a single quarterback ever that has won a Super Bowl or made a big run that couldn't sit in the pocket and throw the football. So Justin Fields is, I think, proven beyond a shadow of a doubt. He's got a couple weapons. He just can't do that.
No.
Unfortunately.
There you go. I was just curious there.
And you think Kenny Pickett's stock is really good?
Compared to y'all didn't give me much to choose from.
Don't say y'all. I'm just asking a question.
I'm sorry. Gator did not give me much to choose from with Jordan Love and Bryce Young.
Throw Desmond Ritter in there. Does that change your mind?
It's a little bit different.
No, I think he's not going to be an NFL starter in 2 years.
Fair enough. All right, just curious. He's looked good
Keith
the last
loves
couple
him,
weeks.
though.
Yeah.
Keith loves him some Desmond. And I think he's probably a great guy. I'd probably go have a cocktail with him. Bottoms up. Yeah. But I'm not drafting him. If I'm a GM, none of those guys are starting for me because they can't win a Super Bowl to any of them, even as they progress. None of them have the arm strength or the presence. They just don't. C.J. Stroud looks to where he might.
There you go. All right. So if you're Chicago, you taking you got the 1 and 3 pick right now. If the season was to end, what are your 2 picks package?
Tyson Baggett's going to play the rest of the games, and we're going to evaluate him the rest of the season. And then I think we have to look. I mean, their offensive line is terrible. It's not a very flashy or sexy pick to pick offensive linemen in the top 5, but I would look there first. And, if you want a flash draft pick, Marvin Harrison Jr. is going to be right there to pair with DJ Moore. I think that, and, the Chicago fans, you got to make them happy a little bit. So I think I'd use one on offensive weapon and then use offensive line.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's a good one.
I don't think Caleb Williams is the guy. He might be the number 1 draft pick as a quarterback coming up this next year. But after what I've seen the past couple weeks, there's nothing that I'm like, whoa, this is it. I don't. His arm strength isn't that impressive. And then you saw he had 2-point conversions to tie the game, and he's falling backward. He doesn't even try to make a play with his feet. He runs away from the goal line and throws off his back foot to the back pylon out of bounds. Like, he didn't even give the wide receiver a chance. And he just missed wide open guys run right across his screen from different camera angles that we saw. I don't think he's tall enough, and I don't think he's a number 1 draft pick as a quarterback. I think the hype's probably a little bit gone, but people still think he's good. I just don't think he's the number 1.
And he is good.
No,
he's good.
He's gonna go.
For sure, he's good. Let me rephrase that. Caleb Williams is good. He's not this guy that everyone thought he was going to be, in my opinion.
Yeah, everybody thought he was going to be back-to-back Heisman Trophy winner. That was going to be a lock type deal. He's going to go number 1. I don't see any way of it not happening. The biggest takeaway for me is I see him having a lot of Russell Wilson in him, to where he's just not a team guy. I think a lot of the locker room's not going to like him. And that, to me, that would be the biggest worry if I was a GM going that way. If it was me, I'd probably trade the number 1 pick, keep the 3, grab a receiver, and try to accumulate picks later on. That's probably what I would do.
Absolutely.
That way. And then just one other thing while we're talking, it topped in here. I was getting ready to close the show out, and I was thinking, with the extra weeks here of NFL football, do you think they need to push the trade deadline back to like week 9 or 10 instead of this being the last week?
100%.
I do
yes.
too. I mean, how much fun would it be in 2 more weeks? You have a really good idea what these teams can do and who's selling. If you're the Minnesota Vikings, the win on Monday night, now Kirk's your guy. You can't trade him because you're in the mix for the division. At least in 2 more weeks, you go lose. You can talk about, kicking the can down the road. And
it's much clearer to your point, which you said beautifully. I totally agree. But you need to know, you talk about our buy and sell segments. Are you still in to buy on the season, or are you out?
Right.
And when you're out, then you can do a little bit more of a dumpster fire and trade some of your studs. But I think it would be way more exciting for all the fans and the NFL teams.
Yeah.
Is Derrick Henry going to go?
That was the thing. Like, if you were Minnesota, what would like right now? Would you not go trade for Derrick Henry and get him on Minnesota?
What are the Buffalo Bills thinking?
Yeah. Buffalo would be another good one.
Need Tajay Spears to be number 1 in Tennessee,
which I've got on my fantasy bench. That's K.O.B.'s boy. I'll never take credit. That's all your boy. I think he's ready to rumble, dude. I think he's ready to rock, ready to roll.
And unfortunately, he's not going to have the opportunity as long as Derrick Henry is on that roster.
I
agree.
I think Derrick Henry's getting dealt this week.
I do too. I think it's going to be Will Levis, Malik Willis, and the Tajay Spears show. I think they're just going to play their young guys, punt on the year. Brable's a great coach, and see what they've got, and at least evaluate those guys to see where they stand after this season.
Right,
but
so
you got to get rid of King Henry and give him a chance to win a Super Bowl.
Where would you trade him to if you were a team? What team would you be?
Buffalo.
Buffalo.
I think it's clear cut. Buffalo, or you could say possibly Cincinnati, but I think he's just too good of a fit with Buffalo. Josh Allen's got to get out of being a one-man show if they're going to try to win the show and win it all. It can't be Josh Allen, in the shotgun throwing it 35, 40 times a game. They got to be able to run football.
I think the Dallas Cowboys would be a great move to take Derrick Henry for a goal and go guy, because right now all they have is Pollard, and they can't score in the red zone.
Yeah.
They're horrific in the red zone. If they bring over Derrick Henry with his build and his expertise, and what he's good at is just running over guys, goal to go, 3rd and short. Is that even a question? Is that even a possibility for the Dallas Cowboys to do that? I don't know, but I think he'd be a great fit for them.
Yeah,
Jerry's too in love with Tony,
but that's fine. You can have Tony. You can run a duo.
I know, but he's not going to do anything to upset Tony Pollard. I think It's a great take. Of course, he would help out arguably every team.
They're the worst red zone
inside the
offense
10,
in the NFL this year.
Yeah.
You got to put points on the board, man. Come on.
The one team I wouldn't be shocked. I don't know if they have the cap space to do it, but Baltimore would be another great team for him to go to. Yeah, they're a little weak back there. He might be a good one to go to. Have your guy to go pound it in when you need it. So that'd be another team.
If you're a Super Bowl contender, I mean, go all in.
Yeah.
And can you burn? What can you get him for? Is it a one? It's not worth mortgaging your future by any chance. But you only have a few chances to win NFL championships. And if I'm one of the top 6, 7 teams, I'm taking a harder look at this.
Yeah, no, for sure. I completely agree. All right, gents, y'all have anything else to add before we close this out?
Just
good.
I'm just a big fan. I'm a big fan of K.O.B. I'm just a big fan.
Who isn't? Who isn't?
Look out, books. We're coming for you this weekend. My goodness. Are we ready?
Yeah, I think it's going to be another big week at hand for all of us. Keep an eye out on the socials. We'll post our plays. We'll try to do a better job during the week, like today when we all played the Jacksonville, like the Gamecocks, 5.5 first half. We need to do a better job posting those. But we'll post winners for you. Just follow us. We'll get them there. Other than that, like, comment, subscribe on this video. Tell your friends. There's a free money if you just watch this show and follow us. Boys, it was another great episode. We'll see you this weekend posting our plays. We'll have one more show next week. Like, comment, subscribe. We'll see you later. This is the Friendly Wager, where betting leads to bonding. See ya.
Get out.